I was not afraid of failing university. I was afraid of going home. Because failure was something I could endure in silence, but disappointing the people who believed in me felt like something that would finish me completely. My name is Frank, and for years my family thought I was moving steadily toward graduation. They knew I was studying political science. They knew I had accepted the admission even though law was my real dream. What they did not know was that behind every phone call, every holiday visit, every smile, and every "I'm fine," I was carrying failed courses like stones inside my chest. Nobody asked me directly, "Frank, have you failed any course?" So I never answered. And sometimes silence can become the longest lie before university. I was the kind of son parents spoke about with pride in secondary school. I did well. When my WAC result came out, I had 5 A's and 4 B's. My father looked at that result sheet like it was proof that all his suffering had meaning. My mother held it with both hands, smiling as if she was afraid joy would fall from it. Then I scored 270 in JAMB. That was when the dream became louder, law. Everybody knew I wanted to become a lawyer. My teachers knew, my friends knew, even neighbors who barely greeted me properly started calling me Barrister Frank. My father repaired electronics in a small shop, and my mother sold food by the roadside. Nothing in our house came easily. Every textbook, every exam fee, every transport money was pulled out of sacrifice. So when I did well, it did not feel like my victory alone. It felt like I had lifted the whole family a little higher. Then admission came. I applied for law. I got political science. I stared at the screen for a long time, hoping the words would change if I looked hard enough. They did not. At home, everyone tried to encourage me. My father said, "A course does not determine your future. Your seriousness does." My mother said, "At least you have entered university. God will still make a way." But I knew something had been taken from me. People whispered the usual stories. Some students with lower scores got law because their parents had influence. Some spaces were already secured before the admission list came out. Some people had money. Some had connections. People like me only had results and hope. Still, I accepted the admission. I told myself I would succeed in political science. I told myself hard work would still speak for me. But university taught me that sometimes hard work speaks, and the system pretends not to hear. The first mass failure shocked me. Students crowded around the notice board, pushing, murmuring, cursing under their breath. Some laughed because they did not know what else to do. Others stood still like their bodies had forgotten how to move. I saw my result and felt something drop inside me. One failed course. Just one. I told myself it was nothing. I would rewrite it, I would recover, I would fix it before my family ever knew. But the next semester, another course joined it, then another. Some lecturers were honest in that course as my effort showed. I got A's, I got B's, sometimes a strong C. Those results reminded me that I was not dull, I was not lazy. The boy who had 5 A's and 4 B's was still somewhere inside me. But some courses felt like punishment. Lecturers missed classes and still set exams like they had taught everything. Results came out late, scripts disappeared, complaints went nowhere. Students whispered about sorting. Those who had money somehow escaped. Those who could pay found their way through. Those of us who could only read kept reading, praying, and failing. Then I got my first E. Students called it, "Let my people go." Everybody laughed. I laughed too. But that night, alone in my room, I looked at that E until my eyes burned, because I knew how many nights I had stayed awake. I knew how many times I had chosen Gary over proper food just to buy handouts. I knew how badly I wanted to make my parents proud. And still, the carryovers kept growing. At home, life continued as if everything was normal. My mother would call and ask, "Frank, how is school?" I would say, "Fine, Ma." My father would ask, "Everything moving well?" I would say, "Yes, sir." They were not careless parents. They trusted me. That was what made it painful. Trust became a room I was slowly suffocating inside. During holidays, relatives would smile and say, "Our graduate is coming soon." My younger siblings would joke about taking pictures with me in my graduation gown. My mother started talking about the kind of clothes she would sew for my graduation.
My father mentioned that he would try to take leave from work when the time came. Each statement entered me quietly and stayed there. I wanted to tell them. Many times I opened my mouth, but then I would see my mother's tired hands. I would remember my father coming home late with dust on his shoes and worry on his face. I would think of all the money they had sent, sometimes in pieces, sometimes after borrowing, sometimes after pretending they were not struggling. So I told myself, just fix it first. One semester became two. Two became three. By the time my set started talking about final year clearance, I knew I was in trouble. My classmates were discussing project topics, NYSC convocation, and life after school. I was calculating outstanding courses. The distance between where my family thought I was and where I actually stood had become too wide. Then one evening, my father called. His voice was calm. "Frank, when exactly are you graduating?" I froze. It was such a simple question, but simple questions can destroy complicated lies. I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. "Frank?" He called again. "Yes, sir." "When should we start preparing? Your mother has been asking." My chest tightened. I could hear plates moving in the background. I imagined my mother nearby, listening, smiling, waiting for the answer she had carried in her prayers for years. I wanted to lie again. I wanted to say soon, but something inside me was tired. Tired of running, tired of pretending, tired of being the son everybody believed was almost finished when I knew I was still trapped. "Daddy," I whispered, "I need to come home." The silence on the phone changed. He knew, maybe not everything, but he knew something had broken. That weekend, the bus ride home felt longer than every journey I had ever taken. I watched towns pass by through the window, but all I could see was my father's face, my mother's tears, my siblings' disappointment. When I entered our compound, my mother came out first. She smiled when she saw me, then stopped. Maybe it was my face. Maybe it was the way I held my bag. Maybe mothers can hear truths children have not spoken yet. Inside the house, my father sat quietly. No one shouted. That made it worse. He looked at me and asked what happened. I stood there for a moment, still trying to be strong. Then I broke. "I failed some courses," I said. My mother's hand went to her chest. "How many?" My father asked. I looked down. "Too many." The room became silent. I could hear my own breathing. I thought I could fix it before telling you. I continued. At first it was one course, then two. Then more. I was studying. I was trying some courses I passed well, but some others. My voice cracked. I don't even know how to explain it. Tears blurred my eyes. I didn't want to disappoint you. I knew how much you sacrificed. I knew you were expecting me to graduate with my set. I kept thinking I would catch up, but I couldn't. My mother started crying quietly. That hurt more than any insult. "I'm sorry," I said. "I'm sorry I lied by keeping quiet. I'm sorry I let you hope without knowing the truth." For a long time, nobody spoke. Then my father stood up and came closer. I prepared myself for anger. Instead, he placed his hand on my shoulder. "Frank," he said, his voice low, "we are hurt." I nodded, crying, "But not because you failed courses." I looked at him. "Frank, if you had told us earlier, we would have faced it together." That sentence entered the deepest part of me. My mother came closer and held my hand. "You are our son before you are our graduate," she said. A delayed graduation is painful, but losing yourself in silence is worse. That night, we talked, really talked. I told them about the mass failures, the honest lecturers, the corrupt ones, the carryovers, the shame, the fear, the nights I could not sleep. My father did not pretend everything was fine. My mother did not pretend she was not disappointed, but they stayed, and somehow that was enough for me to breathe again. My problems did not disappear. I still had courses to rewrite. I still had extra time ahead of me. I still had to face the consequences of hiding the truth, but I no longer had to face them alone. And that changed everything. Looking back now, I understand something failure taught me painfully. Sometimes children do not hide because they are careless. Sometimes they hide because they are ashamed of breaking the dreams their parents built around them. But silence does not protect love. It only delays pain. A failed course can be rewritten. A delayed graduation can still happen. A broken dream can still become another path. But a child suffering alone can lose more than time. They can lose themselves. And sometimes the bravest thing a son can do is not return home with perfect results. Sometimes the bravest thing he can do is return home with the truth.